So CBS News senior foreign correspondent Mark Phillips is joining us now from London to talk about this. So, Mark, what are you hearing about Theresa May's possibility of delaying tomorrow's vote? I know that is one option that's been presented.
Well, it's the latest that we're hearing from the Prime Minister's office is that the vote will be delayed. But I have to issue a health warning in any of the Brexit discussion over the last little while that when you start a sentence, there's no guarantee that by the time you get to the end of it, the story won't have changed again. So let's just talk about the snapshot right now. Up until this point, Theresa May has been saying that this vote will happen, that this was the only deal on the table, the only divorce arrangement, if you will, between the UK and the European Union before they could even get to the point where they start talking about whatever a future trading relationship and all the important economic stuff would be after that. It appeared, as she tried to convince both MPs on all sides of the House of Commons here, her own party and the opposition parties, and did major trips throughout the country, speaking to voters, thinking that they could influence their MPs. She was under the impression that she could, in the end, carry this vote. It turns out, though, that it's been described that she was in a car racing toward a brick wall with her foot firmly down on the gas. It seems that finally she's taken the foot off and put it on the brake, although there's still some question as to whether she can bring it to a stop before it slams into the wall, which is the next sentence.
I mean, but it does strike me as interesting that both sides are unsatisfied. I mean, usually, at least in this country, the leader's party is along for the ride. What is it that both sides are unsatisfied about?
Well, the very beginning of this whole Brexit saga here has been about the divisions within the Conservative Party. The referendum was called by David Cameron as an attempt to finally silence, he thought, wrongly, the anti-European wing of his party, which wanted out of the EU. The vote went the other way for a whole bunch of reasons it would take hours to get into. But the Conservative Party is split. All of the opposition, and it's not a majority in the House of Commons, all of the opposition parties have declared that they will vote against this for various reasons on the right and on the left, because it's either too Brexit or not Brexit enough. And she just doesn't have the vote. And the number of Conservative MPs who it appears were about to break ranks and vote against this deal is possibly even as high as in 3 figures. So 100 of her own MPs could have voted against her. Finally, to carry the metaphor to an absurd level, she's seen the writing on that brick wall and is trying not to hit it.
So listen, you know, Theresa May has sort of presented this as the only option. It's the best deal that could be negotiated. There is no renegotiating. There is no going back to the EU. So either you take it or I don't know, fill in the blank. So, but is it really the only option? I mean, could they go back and perhaps renegotiate? Could they perhaps have another referendum on Brexit?
All of the above. They could try all of this stuff. The EU, for its part, has said today, no, the deal's the deal, take it or leave it. That's what's on the table. It's the result of a position of the 27 other countries in the EU, and it's not open for renegotiation. Others here say that faced with an inability to get this deal through Parliament here, the EU will have to look at it again. Who knows? Is another referendum possible? If you'd asked me that 6 months ago, I would have said the likelihood was, I don't know, 2 or 3%. Now, if you want to roll the dice, perhaps you're talking 25, 30% likelihood, but trending up.
And who knows, things could have changed at the end of that sentence.
Exactly right, as Mark points out.
Thank you so much, Mark.
Pleasure.